everyone. Welcome back to Pointless Perspectives. This week we are talking about some horror thriller-esque movies, specifically those directed by Jordan Peele, who is known for his thriller movies. Today we're talking about specifically his, I think most famous two. So one of them is Get Out, which is basically about a black man meeting his white girlfriend's family on a trip, and some kind of creepy, kind of crazy shit ensues. And it's not as smooth of a meeting as he hoped it would be. And then the second movie is called Us, and I think it came out last year. It's about a family, specifically the wife. They're taking a trip back to the wife's family beachfront home, where she had a traumatic childhood experience. And she basically goes back to hopefully make some new memories with her loving family. But that doesn't really turn out as she thought it would be, because one of the first nights they have a break-in of 4 intruders, with masks, and they later find out that once the masks are removed, the people that attack them look exactly like members of their family. Yeah, weird shit. But get hyped. This will probably be one of the only times that we talk about horror movies, and
yeah, it's one of the only few horror thriller movies that we've watched.
Yeah.
I will say also these two movies are the only movies that Jordan Peele has fully directed, I believe.
He did another one, I thought. Twilight Zone.
That's a TV show.
Oh, just kidding.
And I think that's probably maybe production. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that next year, or it was supposed to be this year, but next year, he's coming out with Candyman, which is another very thriller based story. But I believe that Candyman was a story that existed already. It was an old movie, and he's doing a remake of it.
Oh God, I'm not ready.
Or it's an actual story.
I think it's based off of a legit story. These other two were kind of from, I think, just original stories, but this one's has some backing historically, maybe.
Yeah, so it's I'm reading here. It is a remake / spiritual sequel to the 92 horror classic. So it's under the same. It's an extension to another movie, and also what is it? He's not directing it. He's the producer, but not in the screenplay, but not the director. But for Get Out and Us, he's the director
and producer.
Yeah, and Get Out was his debut.
Yeah, that was his big one. Everyone knew his name. He became a household name from that. I mean, before it was his Key and Peele sketches.
Yeah, and I think Get Out was his directorial debut. That, and it also that's one of the big things with his movies is it's funny or interesting to see that he's a comedic person and he does comedic things as an actor and an individual.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he produces or directs things, he goes for intense horror, suspense, thriller styles.
And that
seems to be the genre that he wants to do. I think he likes being more creative with the storytelling process of a thriller.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so out of all of the thriller movies or horror movies that we could have seen, I'm glad we saw his, because although I hate the feeling of being scared, and I'm always the one that's hiding behind the blankets, this was actually good movies that made me think a lot. I was at the edge of my seat genuinely, like when we were watching Us in the movie theaters, even though I was hiding behind like someone's jacket.
Yeah, it's like you want to pay attention and see what's going on because you want to know like what the big reveal is going to be or like what the
Mm-hmm.
story is leading up to. But at the same time, you're like you're genuinely like scared and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like I don't, because I think that's something else with like thriller style versus like just like basic horror is like a lot of like really like basic horror stuff. I feel like rely on like jump scares and
Yeah.
like sudden like shots into this frame that like what while the music is building up so that it scares you like when you see it happen. But like like thriller style is like very like it's not jump scare like it, there are jump scares but like you're also like nervous for the characters and what's
Yeah.
gonna happen because like you actually don't know what's gonna happen. And I think the
Yeah.
only
Oh,
other
sorry,
one
what?
oh no sorry like the only other horror movie that I've watched is The Conjuring.
Yeah, no.
And like in comparison, like now it's so funny because like I watched it multiple times actually, but like the first time like I was like nervous because it was my first time watching like an actual horror movie. And then now like when I rewatch it, like I can understand why like people that are used to horror movies found it kind of comedic here and there because it's just kind of like okay, it's like okay.
No, for like me, I really like, so I haven't seen like The Conjuring or anything like that, but I will say that like although the movies both had like jump scare, it was like it wasn't like this stupid stuff where like you're in the movie theater and you're like, bro, like really you don't go into the closet or something like that. Like it's actually like things that you're fearful of them doing and not just like stupid actions that like people in like dumb horror movies would do, you know?
Mm.
Like, don't go in the closet, don't do this, don't do that. Like, obvious things. But he doesn't make it obvious. And also, I will say the music that they use, like, definitely sets the tone, like, very well. Like, very creepy, like, yeah. It's just very good, very well done.
I think that's like something that he does like with like the music is I remember like I don't know if it's true, but I know at least for Candyman he did this. He took like an already existing like popular pop song and like he like makes it almost into a thriller
Yeah.
esque soundtrack. So like for Candyman's trailer, he basically took "Say My Name" by Beyonce and made it into like the soundtrack score of the trailer, which is
Oh my god.
interesting.
I think he did that for us too, but I don't remember the
Yeah, I
song
didn't
that
pay
went with
attention
it.
that much to like the music whenever I watched, or I didn't hear it, I guess, when I watched the trailers. I don't think I actually watched the trailers for the first two movies
Nope.
because like I'm not really like a big watching horror movie trailers.
Yeah, I was gonna like try and like rewatch it for like before we talked about this episode, and I was like, no, I'm good. That's okay. I'll be
But like you
fine.
know, but you like know what happens in the movies.
Yeah, but I
You're still
still
scared even when
well,
you know what's gonna happen.
well, it's like cause like okay, spoiler alert, but like for us, it's creepy because like the end of the plot point that gets exposed isn't something that's like entirely out of this world. It's like about like cloning and stuff like that.
Which
So,
makes sense because they're clones.
well, yeah, but
Like
like
it,
it's
yeah.
not something that's like completely like absurd to think about because like technically
Oh, you
we
mean
do
like
have
impossible?
yeah, like technically we have the technology to do actual cloning.
So
So
watching the
like
trailer reminds you of the reality of it, and that scares you.
yeah, it's
uh,
it's a scary moment. Like
yeah, no,
that level.
yeah,
I don't
no.
know. Like put yourself in like if you go like put yourself in their shoes like meeting your clone and your clone's like I want to have your life. I want this. Like I'm going to take this from you. Like that's like horrible.
Yeah, but I don't put myself in their shoes because
Yeah.
it's a scary movie and I don't want to put myself in their shoes.
Well,
But like also like I know
I'm
that
just
like there's
empathetic
no
like that.
there's not like a sewage system that's gonna hold our clones.
It was a subway system. Get it right.
Yeah, but like that's my point. Like
Yeah.
subway, there's no like abandoned
We
subway
don't
that
know
people can
that.
thrive in.
We don't know that.
It maybe there's
It's
like a
pretty
government
scary.
facility holding them that I can believe, but
Every time I go to the carnival, I gotta check over my shoulder and like make sure. It's scary, bro. The whole premise, and then also like the idea of like Get Out, like that. It's not the things that he does isn't so far fetched that it's like, oh yeah, that would never happen to me. It's like some of that's the stuff that he brings up is like, oh shoot, like
yeah, he doesn't really mess with like supernatural. He's talking about like if individuals become scary.
yeah, like it's like the worst part of human nature sometimes. Like with Get Out, it was about like extremely like racist like family that basically perpetuated like modern slavery in like modern times. Right? I'm not messing that up.
Yeah, I guess that's like the way to phrase it. Like
Yeah,
it's just really creepy family that wanted to make them servants and felt superior. So yeah, like
yeah,
but not even like they basically treated oh yeah, just like if
yeah,
slavery continued into the modern world or like slavery
yeah.
thought continued into the modern world.
And like it's not that far fetched, to be honest. And
Yeah, who
it's
knows?
scary that like stuff can exist, and like, well, it's stuff that it does exist, and that it could get to that point.
Yeah, he did like a really cool job of like the daughter was probably the most crazy and like
Oh yeah.
detached, but like the rest of the family members that were doing it, like part of the whole plan of it all,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't like insane people. Like they weren't crazy. They were
Yeah.
just like they just believe. I mean, like obviously they're
Crazy,
stupid
but
and
like,
crazy, but like they didn't physically look like it, even when all the stuff was revealing. Like
yeah,
they just were like they were like that concept of like they really believe in what they believe in, and because they
yeah.
believe in because of their thought process they think is right, like this is all it was all like makes sense to them. It's like what they should do. They're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to treat black people like this and that.
Yeah, like essentially, it was. Yeah, they were so firm in their beliefs, no one could sway them, for one. For another, they weren't like yelling at the top of their lungs like their beliefs. It was simply like, this is the way it is, and this is the way it's going to stay. And
Yeah,
you're
because like
essentially
everybody in
screwed.
their circle was
Yeah,
doing it and part of like this like weird modern slave trade.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah, and it was cool for like Get Out was kind of like more like racially motivated storyline,
Mm-hmm.
but then Us was like it didn't matter. Like it was just like good clones versus bad clones or whatever. Good like like the actual people and then the clones.
And like the thing is, like, oh, the plot twist at the very end was so interesting. But like, it's
It was
like
kind of
if you,
predictable based off the storyline and
it
like
is.
how they started the movie, but
Well, yeah, but like the thing is, like if you look at it like from one perspective, or if you look at it from the other perspective, both of them could be in the right. Like the clones technically, like they
yeah,
went
they
through
were like
some shit.
oppressed
Yeah, they're like oppressed, and
and
so like
hidden.
you get it sometimes. So like you can sympathize with both people, but like
Yeah, it kind of like culminated into like there was actually no good guy, bad guy. It was
yeah,
just well, there was a bad guy. It was the people that cloned them
yeah,
and created them and then hid them away.
yeah. But like between like the family and the clone family, there was it basically showed like the mirroring of like in their narrative they're both like good people and doing what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, plot twist. So yeah, we already did the spoiler alert, but like at the very end. So getting a little bit deeper into the plot. Um, basically, the wife that like they go to the beach house is named Adelaide, and so Adelaide had like a very traumatic experience when she was younger, where she got lost at a carnival, and like
In the
basically
House of Mirrors.
yeah, House of Mirrors. Oh, that's why I never go into those things. But she gets lost in the House of Mirrors, and like at one point she sees her reflection, but then her reflection does something creepy and like waves back at her,
Like, it's
like
obviously
from
not just a reflection, it's like someone else that
yeah.
looks
And
like her.
so basically, like, she gets lost for a while, gets freaked out in the House of Mirrors, and then, like, runs out and is found by her parents, thankfully. But then she doesn't talk for, like, the next couple of years. Like, she was, like, scared, like, speechless, essentially. And so then it's about, like, how she overcame that, and then, like, now she has a happy family, whatever. Turns out, in the, like, beginning when she gets lost in the House of Mirrors, her clone and her actually switch places. So the real Adelaide was stuck in the underground for like so many years, and the clone Adelaide stepped into her life.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why she
um
couldn't speak, was because the people underground
yeah,
didn't have a reason to speak.
exactly. But like in the movie itself, like the clone for Adelaide is the only one that can speak. And so
Yeah.
at the end, when you find out they switched places when she was younger, you realize, oh, that's why she can speak. And it's like a cool little detail that like Jordan Peele includes that like who would have thunk? Like, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, what's the actress's name?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, Lupita Nyong'o. She actually, like, for the role, like, she tried really hard to, like, have, like, reference material and resource material and, like,
Mm.
people that haven't talked and, like, had to slow, or, like, had to lost, I guess, like, ability to speak and have to go to
Mm-hmm.
therapy to, like, start learning to speak again. And in that process, like, how their voice sounds when, like, the muscles are weak or strained.
Yeah, that was she worked really hard to like make it as like realistic as possible, and like I guess because like your voice is like your vocal cords are technically like muscles, so to speak. Like your voice is like a muscle. If you don't
Yeah,
use it,
it's
you lose it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it was really interesting to see that. Also, thought it was cool, totally unrelated, but like Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o had worked together previously in Black Panther, and
Yes.
then they came together for this movie, and it was kind
Yep.
of like cool to see them like, hey, they're both sharing the screen again.
Mm-hmm. And Get Out, the actor for the main actor, he's also in Black Panther.
Oh my god, yeah, I
Yep.
forgot.
Mm-hmm.
He's the border tribe leader.
Yep.
That's so I didn't even notice that. Solid. But yeah, like there's one thing that I love about like all these movies is like there's like little like tidbits that like if you like go back, like not, the thing is I wouldn't go back and watch them, but I feel like if you went back and watched them you'd be like, wow, I see the connections now, you know?
Thrillers are, like, good for, like, that, for, like, having
Mm.
a actual storyline, and it's kind of like a mystery of you trying to figure out, like, oh, what's the reason for the protagonist or antagonist being as
Yeah,
angry as they are.
yeah, like I am a big fan of mysteries, but I think um I will always enjoy like Scooby Doo mysteries more than I enjoy the thriller mysteries.
Hmm.
Just cause like there's a certain level of like fear that I appreciate, and then there's the level that I don't appreciate. Cause like I don't know, if I'm like hiding behind a blanket for the majority of the movie, then I'm just like, ugh, sad.
Yeah, I get that. But I do want to like try to train myself into trying to watch horror movies because it's such a big genre of film, and like
Mm.
it is something that you can easily talk about with people, like, and like either like laugh about or like, you know, complain about or whatever the case is, if it's like good or not. And like, right, like this whole month technically they would have like horror movie releases and new movies coming out
Oh yeah,
for
for sure.
Halloween and like the holidays. And so I think you kind of miss out on that if you're not, like, it's a big part of like pop culture,
Yeah,
right? Because
but then
like I think
alternatively, sorry,
I,
what?
I think about like it when it came out, it was a kind of like a pop
God,
culture
no.
reference.
I hated that so much. My brother tried to like make my family and I watch it, and within the first 5 minutes, I was like, "Peace, I'm out. No, thank you. Good day."
Yeah, it's like interesting because like people, I remember reading a lot like on like social media, like how people found
Mm.
it to be more humorous than scary, because like they would laugh every time they saw Pennywise, because it was like how and what is it, those words called, animatronic or like cartoonish he looked, and like not, and like obviously he's not a real person, so it's like kind of weird mannerisms make him seem funny. And like that's because they're, these people that watch like it are probably like the ones that like watch like actual scary movies,
Yeah.
or like watch a lot of scary movies, so like by comparison this one was not, that one was not as scary to them. And like I didn't watch it like actually from fully through, like I watched like another, like a YouTuber watching it, reacting to it,
Oh, yes,
and I got
yes.
the gist through that.
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
fun way to
no.
watch horror movies, like.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I feel like it's less scary when you watch like a commentary video, or like if you're watching it with like someone that's like fine with you with talking through the movie and being like, "Oh, that's so stupid." Cuz like then it's less of like focus on like the fear factor and all that stuff and more on just like having a discussion, you know?
Yeah, like being able to like scream and like be frustrated while you're watching something is what
Yeah.
is part of the fun of watching something, like regardless of if it's horror or like romance or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my
Like
best
yeah.
movie watching experiences is like with friends, and like being able to like clown it or like
Yeah.
enjoy it together.
See, yeah, but that's like my biggest thing with that is like I do that with rom-coms. I cannot uh, I'm slowly maybe we'll get over it. But like you know how you mentioned like you bond with people over like the different horror movies that people have watched? Alternatively, I bond with people that like absolutely hate horror movies and are like, "Yeah, no, I'm not about that life." Because you know, there's a good bit of us out there and I appreciate every one of them because I understand.
Well, I'm, yeah, like you can obviously like relate to people by saying like you hate watching horror movies, but
Mm,
like you lose like the ability, like I just meant like to talk about that movie, or to like to
mm,
know when people talk about it, like what they're talking about. Like it, when you are with someone that doesn't watch a certain set of movies, then you just don't talk about those set of movies. That's just how it is.
mm, yeah, but I feel like also like if
Like how much are you
they're
going to talk about a movie that you haven't watched? You just be like, oh yeah, didn't watch that because I didn't like it or didn't want to.
yeah, I mean true. But I think also like if it's one of those popular movies, like if it's about it or like or not if it's like it or like Get Out or Us, like those ones that like really truly make it big and are the ones that you usually have as conversation starters. Like no people hear about it enough in the media, I feel like, that they're like, okay, I get the basic gist of this. And so not that they could have like a huge in-depth conversation, but they could be like, yeah, I know what it is, like I know the premise, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I will attempt to up my tolerance of horror movies, but until that day, I will be hiding behind blankets or avoiding horror movies. Yes,
Hmm.
that is where I'm at right now. But maybe I'll go see Candyman. Maybe, but it like has to be with friends, and I have to have some coverage readily available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, going to the movie theaters with friends is not happening anytime soon, so I'm safe for a while. But yeah, I think take a break for a bit. But yeah, okay. So switching gears a little bit, from horror movies, I think my favorite like Halloween tradition is watching all the old school Disney TV shows,
Oh yeah.
like all of their Halloween episodes.
Mm.
That's a vibe too. Cause like as a kid, I was definitely freaked out by them, but like now I can laugh about them and be like, yeah, that's so stupid. Um, like I don't. Did you ever see the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody's Halloween special with like the ghosts or like the medium?
Oh yeah, that's like the most like iconic episode, right? With
Yeah,
like
with
the picture
Esther.
frame. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I don't remember exactly how it went, but I know about it.
yeah. Like those ones are like with like that's so
Yeah.
Raven or all
That was
the.
definitely the Sweet Life one was definitely scary. Like when I first watched it,
Oh my god,
I
yeah. I
was
was
like,
like,
"Holy
oh,
crap!"
I'm like, oh no. Oh, the hotel's definitely haunted. Like that may have been the start of when I started hating horror stuff. Because as a kid, I was like, oh god, I can't. If I can't handle this, how am I gonna handle other things?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Twas
Hmm.
the beginning.
I mean, I was scared of a lot of movies when I was younger.
Mm. I think it depended on like the type of movie. Like if it was like an action movie type thing, and like with a little bit of fear, I was like, okay, it's fine because like the good guy's obviously gonna prevail at the end. But like straight up horror movies or like straight up thriller movies, I was like, no thanks. Also, I wasn't allowed to watch them, so it didn't really matter.
Oh yeah, I never watched. We didn't watch like no one in my house likes horror movies, so we didn't watch it when I was younger. But
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking like certain movies that had like scary elements would
Mm.
scare me from watching it when I was younger. So like, there's like this really I don't even remember the name of it, but there was like a popular like Indian movie, like
Mm.
scary movie that we watched. Oh, Arundhati. It's a South Indian film. And anyways, that scared me so bad. I could not never get through it. I would just like hide under the blanket when my parents watched it, and I it was like really good at the time. Like for the time that it came
Mm.
out, it got actually like acclaims and the actors did really well for it, and it was a really cool plot point, especially
Mm.
for the Indian film industry at that point, where like horror movies weren't like that big of a deal there. But I could not get through it. I
Mm.
never I don't think I've actually watched that movie fully through. I think I've only watched like parts. Um so that movie was scary to me when I was younger, and then like I got scared by Harry Potter when I was like really young,
See, the
because there
thing
was like a
is,
scene where the guy had a head face
oh,
on the back of his head, and that
yeah.
freaked me out really
Yeah.
bad, and I was like, no, 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 and I like stopped it and like didn't watch the
Yeah,
movies.
that definitely. I definitely was kicked out by that, but at that time, like, because I have an older brother, so he was like way into all of the Harry Potter movies, so I had to watch them, and like
Mm.
slowly by like constantly watching them, I got used to it. And like I was like, gross, Voldemort, but like it wasn't as bad since I'd just been exposed to it so
See,
many
that's what I'm
times.
saying. Like, it's just you just need to get exposed more to horror movies. Like, that's how you build up.
See, but like, I don't want to. Because, like, Harry Potter was nice because, like, it wasn't just, like, scary. Like, it has such, like, a good storyline behind that. But, like, for me, in my experience of, like, reading about horror movies, there isn't the same level of, like,
story.
interesting like stories, to me at least. Like for my personal preference, I'm not like, yes, this horror movie sounds super interesting, I want to watch it. Like
yeah
I will say another like really good kind of thriller-esque director is he's a South Korean director, Bong Joon-ho. He did Parasite and then also Train to Busan.
yeah
And Parasite was so good. Like I was definitely like a little fearful during the whole thing, but it was just really interesting and it didn't feel like entirely horror all the time.
yeah. I'm not gonna like say anything about the plot, but like I will say, like, going into it, I was expecting like more of a horror aspect than it ended up being. It was still like it ended up being like an actual like more like a suspenseful movie.
Yeah.
But like it was way different than what I thought, because I guess hearing the name of it, I went in thinking that it was gonna be like more like kind of like supernatural scary elements, more of that than what it ended up being.
I thought it was gonna be like an actual like affliction, like an actual parasite, like people getting it and like it changing them, not like zombies, but like just like making their like basically destroying them from the inside out. I didn't expect
Instead
it
of
to.
it being like metaphorical
Yeah,
title.
I didn't expect it to be like a whole metaphor for like life and class and all like classes and stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, word, like it's deeper than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I think Train to Busan is about zombies, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I need to watch it because like Gung Yu is in that, and I should watch it just for him.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, he's coming out. Oh, this is so tangent, but like he's coming out apparently with like a movie with Park Bogum and like Susie Bay.
We love that.
I think they're coming out. I just saw like a title really quick, but on like my thing somewhere. But I think that's happening. Like that's coming out. And also, like, I'm currently watching. I just started a show with my parents, Record of Youth, which has like the girl from Parasite.
Oh, really?
Plays Jessica. Yeah, she's in it with Park Bogum.
We love that. Genuinely love to see it. But yeah, no, just like it just reminded me of that the same vibe almost as like Us and Get Out, because it's not like it's not crazy stuff. It's not like absurd. It's it's possible.
Again, like,
it's
real people just going crazy.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Oof. Oh man. Such good things. See, the only other like horror film I think I've seen. Ooh, no, I've actually seen a couple, because in high school, some of my friends like made it their mission to like get me to watch at least like one horror movie in my like high school career.
Yeah.
And but like they ended up kind of failing because it ended up being like more like thriller than horror. But I don't know. Have you seen The Orphan?
No, I know I haven't seen it. I know that I haven't seen it, but like, I just was like thinking of like if I've even heard of the movie.
At least I think it was called The Orphan. Let me make sure.
I know. I thought I heard of. I think I've heard of like the Black Orphan, like something like that. But
yeah, no, it's just The Orphan, and it's like basically. Do I spoil this?
No.
It's like an old movie. Okay, well, it's creepy. And it's about a girl that is adopted and a dangerous series of events that unfold from there. But like, yeah, those are the types of like more thriller than horror. And genuinely, I think I prefer thriller to horror. I don't know about you though. I don't know, if you had to do like horror or thriller, would you want more thriller vibes or more horror vibes?
I don't know. Like, I can't really just differentiate them when I go into it, so.
See, I just assume like horror equals like supernatural, like paranormal activity stuff, since that's like a classic one?
No, I wouldn't say that that's because you can have like scary things that aren't like chain like was it like Saw and like Texas Chainsaw
Oh, I've
Massacre and
yeah,
like
never.
and Scream
Scream?
Scream, is that the name of the movie?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
they deal with, it's about like actual people scaring like someone, and
mm,
so right, like Silence of the Lambs is like a thriller, but like it's also scary because it's like really creepy.
I don't want to know. I've heard very interesting things about Silence
Like
of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs like scared the absolute shit out of people because it was like he did such a good job of being so creepy, but like that's not supernatural-esque.
Or like Michael Myers is like that whole series where we like saw one movie and we're like, yeah, no, we're good.
We saw Halloween, like the most recent one, and like out of without even knowing about
Yeah.
the Michael Myers plot of it all, and like I learned about the plot of it like through that movie and like afterwards. But like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a whole horror movie, and it's not supernatural.
Yeah.
Even though
Like
that guy definitely has like some sort of ability to
my
survive.
yeah. He survived too many like fatal incidents to not have some sort of like secret ability or like immortality or something.
Yeah, like he doesn't, like that's his whole character. Like he doesn't die from like being shot or stabbed or whatever. Other
Yeah.
people die from him. It's only be killed by him
Yeah.
and then slow him down.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like nobody can stop him, sadly. Even that girl that like did it all those years ago.
Yeah, I didn't even know that like it was like a whole series with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like I didn't even know that Jamie Lee Curtis had that kind of series.
I just know I think she was in Freaky Friday.
You think?
I think. I thought she was.
She
Am I?
is. That's
She
like a
was,
killer.
right?
Oh, that's not a scary movie.
Yeah. I just knew her from Freaky Friday and then oof. The one of my favorite movies, I think, Knives Out.
That's the only movies you know Jamie Lee Curtis in.
Yeah.
I can't remember the names of her movies, but like she definitely has so many like she's not known for those actually. Like Knives Out probably now because it was like a blockbuster, but like she's specifically known for this like Halloween series, but also for um she did like a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Terminator.
Nope,
No? That's all
definitely
I
not.
know Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, like
I feel like it is Terminator.
nope, it's definitely not. She's definitely not in Terminator.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Like positive?
yes.
Okay.
You can search it up. I don't need to prove myself
No, no,
when
no, no.
I'm
I was
being
just be.
confident.
Oh no, no, that's different. The lady's Linda Hamilton. I confused them because I
Yeah.
remember like in the latest Terminator they had, it was like there was like an older woman that like.
Nope, it was her. It was that Linda girl, not Jamie Lee
Yeah,
Curtis.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. But yeah,
True Lies.
um, True Lies. That's what it's called.
Yep.
1994.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a really big movie. Yeah, it was with James Cameron, the same director as Terminator, but
Different.
yeah, that was like a
Yeah,
big action movie at the time.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'd
I
see
like that
that.
movie. I watched it with my family.
Aw, wholesome.
They're like a married couple, and then she finds out that he's like a spy, and so
Oh, it's
she
like
goes.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but before.
No, it's not like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's like she's not a spy though. She just finds out that he is.
No, it's like that Katherine Heigl,
Oh yeah,
um, Ashton Kutcher movie.
yeah. But like not many people know about that one. So
Oh.
oh my god, they're coming out with another Halloween movie next year.
honestly, not surprised. They're making like bank off of this franchise. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe one day I will dip my toe into the um horror thriller movies once again. But until then, I'm good with just chilling and knowing about Jordan Peele's like two really solid ones.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Like
That's your
I'm
limit.
satisfied. Yeah, that's my limit for right now. Oh my gosh. But yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah,
There's not
I
much
think
more we can go into that movie.
yeah. I think it was solid. Oh, final thoughts. Basically, yeah, you if you're into like horror movies or thriller movies, definitely watch it. If you're not, might I recommend Disney Channel? But yeah.
You talk about it as though it's not a known channel. Like that people
Hey,
didn't grow up on Disney.
you
Like they
know,
don't know that it
maybe
exists.
some people didn't. I'm not out here to discriminate. But yeah, basically, um, watch it if you're into that stuff. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Yep, yep. See ya.
See ya. Bye.